Hey, Connor from Wavefront here, and in this video I'm going to be focusing a little bit on some of the additional metrics that we can collect for you from your AWS account beyond just CloudWatch. So of course, if you turn on our AWS integration, we'll pull in all your CloudWatch data for you, but we also pull in some other stuff. It's documented here. We call it AWS Metrics Plus. There's a bunch of useful things here, but what I'm going to focus on mostly in this video is this metric, EBS volume size. So of course, any EBS volume running on AWS has a volume size, and it has volume IOPS, but those metrics aren't actually in CloudWatch. But you can just query the APIs, ask what size the volume is, and then report that as a metric. And one of the nice things about having that as a metric in a system like Wavefront is you then know how much you're spending on EBS, because essentially EBS is priced by the amount that you're using in terms of gigabits per month, which is the volume size, and those IOPS, which is the other metric we collect. But mostly, and certainly for GP2, which is what most people use most of the time, it's just a purely volume size based pricing. While I'm here, this whole dashboard, by the way, uses some of those other custom metrics that we collect and helps you do things like reserved instance optimization. For instance, in this particular case, it's showing if we were to reserve this many instances of each type in these regions, we would realize approximately $60,000 a month savings if we did a 3-year all upfront contract. And of course, I could play around with this and say, I don't want to commit for 3 years. Let's see what the savings would be if we did a 1-year commit instead. And we should see a lower number here, which we do. Let's drill in on this EBS number a little bit, because one of the things we introduced recently was the ability to actually detect detached volumes with this data. This graph is more detailed than the previous one, and it's actually breaking out the cost by the different volume types. So you can see the GP2 pricing is just 10 cents per gigabit per month, etc. And what we're graphing here is the total monthly EBS spend, which is somewhere around 68K a month. Because we have a filter here to say which ones are detached, the volumes that are available are currently detached, we can see that we're spending, let's see what this comes to, a little over $2,000 a month on detached volumes. Now, it's a useful feature to be able to save your volumes when you terminate an instance. But what we've seen is that many times someone says, oh, I'll save this volume because I'm going to reattach it shortly to some new instance. That never happens. And over time, you build up basically a lot of cruft, old EBS volumes that you're paying for that you're never using. And indeed, if we just look at this as a percentage of our total spend, and this is one of the nice things about a system like Wavefront, by the way, you can do this kind of analytics and math on your data very easily. So as a percentage, we're spending about 5-6% of our total EBS spend is on old detached volumes that we're not even using. And of course, just flip over to another chart here. Here I'm just looking at a table view in Wavefront of all of the detached volumes sorted by which ones are the biggest, which ones are costing us the most money. And I can see here the volume ID, the region that they're in, so I can easily go look these up in the AWS console and terminate them if they're not needed. In fact, here at Wavefront, we run on AWS ourselves, and we have an alert over this data that'll just alert us if there's ever a volume that has been detached for more than 1 hour. So it's just real-time alerting over AWS pricing data to save you money. And super easy to do, and you can be up and running with this in Wavefront in a few minutes.